Welcome to Why They Play the Game, a show created to discuss the NBA on and off the court. I'm just one of your hosts, Michael Eric Owens.
And I'm Ken Hayes.
Hey, my brother, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
Man, listen, the Olympics are over, man, and the USA men's team comes home with the gold. It's the what they say the fifth now in a row.
Okay.
Yeah, since I think the bronze they got in '04. So ever
Okay.
since then, they have been, basically, big man on top. But Ken, talk a little bit about, we know they kind of ran through the prelims and kind of ran through the tournament, the Olympics, as we would say, unscathed. They had a couple of scares toward the end in the qualifying elimination round. What are your thoughts on their performance this year?
You know, and it's been so much talk about, comparing them to, the dream team. I'm like, we can't keep doing that. I mean, two different eras, a lot of different players. They played well. They did what they were expected to do as far as winning the gold medal is concerned. I thought I'll say the elders, I'll say LeBron, Curry, and Durant, last two games carried them through, in which, that's what they were supposed to do. Durant, I think this was his fourth gold medal. Not the player that he was, let's just say, the first two gold medals that he won, which, Father Time. But, coming in there, a little banged up. So you got to give him kudos. I think he has the most points as far as, Olympic play is concerned. LeBron played well. Curry struggled a little bit the first couple of games, but came on at the end. And, from there, I think this was his first Olympics. So, as far as I'm concerned, Mike, they did a bang up job. Steve Kerr, I don't think he gets the credit that he deserves as far as, this Olympics was concerned. There was a lot of criticism about him changing up the lineup. Some players not getting the time that they, let's just say they used to as far as in the regular season. But lineups change. They try to, take their advantage of the players that they had against other teams, which, I think was a smart move. If it would have backfired, you would have heard a lot, Steve Kerr needs to be, not allowed to coach the Olympic team anymore. And I think, I'll say last year with FIBA, with the disappointment of them not even getting in a medal. So, a big upside to them. The only I'll say criticism that I may have is that I just thought that Curry should have been the MVP of the team. But for the most part, they played solid. The other criticism I don't have is that you've seen online and social media is that Tatum, his playing time, was, let's just say, reduced. I thought, in a couple of games, I thought Tatum was, the motivator as far as I'm concerned. In a couple of those games, he was doing what Tatum does. So Ant-Man played well. I think I'll say looking into the future, and what is it, 2028? He's going to be, let's just say, the man on the team. And Tatum, I'm pretty sure Tatum will be right along with him. So that's my perspective.
Ken, there's a lot to unpack, man, that you just laid down. Man, where do I begin? Well, first of all, I'm going to say this. I think Steve Kerr did a horrible job.
Okay.
I'm just going to be honest. I think they won, like most of the time. They won simply because they just got more talent. I mean, in my opinion, you beat Serbia by 20 points, 20 plus. You beat them by 18. You struggle with them in the semifinals, which was ridiculous. Like, dude, that nowhere has Serbia showed you that they could compete with you on the court. Now, I understand the argument is, man, it's hard to beat a team 3 times in a row. Okay, I get that. But you beat them down. Like it wasn't even a game. So I mean the talent wasn't even there. So we could get into, Steve Kerr's approach to that game, but I just think there is no universe. And folks know they listen to the show all the time. We want to give a shout out to the folks that have been listening. Man, our last episode, we had a lot of folks, Ken,
Oh yeah.
commenting and sharing it. And listen, folks, we want you to continue to do that as well, and to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button, and share your comments, and also share the show. We're trying to get as much conversation as we can. But there's no universe in which Jayson Tatum does not play. Ken, he was all defensive first team 3 years in a row. He just came off winning a championship. He's been to the Eastern Conference Finals how many times? And you got 2 players on that team that he plays with on his squad that he's in front of. And the argument that comes along that, well, we needed some glue guys. Jayson can't be that. He can't. You trying to tell me this NBA player that's when we say the top 100, when we go, JT is going to be in that number. You're trying to tell me that all NBA first team player. Now, I'm not talking about, see, this is where the argument people come up with. Well, Steve Kerr doing these different matchups. See, I'm not arguing against matchup.
Okay.
I'm arguing against zero time.
Oh.
0 time. Now, Ken, we both play sports. It is nothing worse. And we've never played at a level that Jayson Tatum has played at.
Oh, man.
But even on the level we played at, sitting on the bench when you better than other people, I don't care what anybody say. It's embarrassing. It's horrible. It hurts your confidence. There's no place in the universe where Jayson Tatum doesn't get a few minutes here, a few minutes there. Ken, the last Olympics, he was the second leading scorer.
I know.
Okay. So to me, man, listen. Steve Kerr said this is all about winning the gold medal.
Right.
Okay. It's not about an individual. Okay. That's what he said. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Okay. So to me, if I value a player and I believe a player is going to help me win that gold medal, he ain't sitting on that bench. He up in that game. So it tells me Kerr did not value what he brought to the table. There is no way you're going to sit Jake. Man, maybe I'm in maybe I'm in another universe, man, but I have a huge problem with sitting one of the best players in the league. You gave him 0 time. I didn't say you had to start him. I didn't say you had to give him 10 minutes. I didn't say you had to give him 20. But to give him 0 minutes, to give the idea that somehow if Jayson Tatum gets in the game, he's going to hurt us.
No.
Or we're going to be less efficient because he's in the game. Stop it, Ken. There's no. I don't care what anybody makes an argument. Those are just excuses. They mean nothing to me. Steve Kerr made a decision. I don't know if the other coaches agree with it, but in my opinion, he made a decision that I don't need him. I don't need him.
Yeah.
And even when he started and put him in, he didn't give him sufficient time. You right, Ken. Before this even started, you called it. You said Jayson Tatum's going to be their secret weapon. We saw him coming off the bench and getting busy. That's right. What we saw. I was like, hold on, man. Like, it's okay. The first quarter gone. JT ain't in there. I'm like, second. I'm like, what?
Right.
I'm like, how is this brother not getting any time? So to me, man, I'm not on that other side. But what I'm saying is this: that was unacceptable, bro. And I hope Steve Kerr does not come back to coach that team because number one, when I saw the USA team play, their talent level was so far above anyone else. Yes, is the international players catching up? Absolutely. They're playing much better. However,
Right.
come on, Ken. Man, they were running through folks. And we know when I saw them, even when they played sloppy, you know what I'm saying? And even if we go back to 2004 when they did the bronze, you know, a lot of players were young. They wasn't used to that. How many players decided not to even come? There was
Right.
a bunch of players that said, "No, I'm not playing for
I'm
the
sitting
Lakers.
out.
I'm not going to do it. I'm sitting out." So that year, I don't even want to discuss that year, man. When I hear that with a redeemed team and all that, listen, we didn't send the top dogs that year. But Ken, I'm gonna go back to what I said. When they started struggling shooting, where was the defense? What France did in that first half and what Serbia did when they broke out to that earlier lead, it was wide open threes. It was
Oh yeah.
wide open threes. There was no defense being played. Now I'm gonna give them credit. They locked down in that fourth quarter. They were like, "Nah, we're gonna take the gold back with us, dog." You thought you had it. I saw Fournier. No. I saw who was Bogdanovich. Yeah. I saw him. He was all in tears, this, that, the other thing. My question to him was, did you think you were gonna win, dog?
Wait a minute, Mike. I mean, France. Ooh, last Olympics, I think France was. Yeah, they lost. They beat France. The
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
it might
Yeah.
have been the Olympics before too. So
Oh, yeah. Well, I know it was last year. I know it was last year.
and
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty no, I'm not sure about that, but I think France is advancing as far as the
Mm-hmm.
country to, let's just say, to knock the USA off. Victor, what he ended up with 24, 26?
Yeah, he had 26.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
mean, France is, and they look like they had, first half they was like, yeah, we got this. Nah. But I'm gonna go back to your point with JT. I think that if the USA would have won, let's just say, would have lost. Let's just put it that way. I think there would have been a huge amount of, let's just say, criticism of Steve Kerr. The only reason why it's not, let's just say, floating to the top is because they won the gold medal. That's
I
the
agree.
only reason.
I agree, Ken.
And the thing, yeah, and I told you, well, we talked about this. I said JT is a secret weapon because I mean he was cooking. I mean, I I just don't get it, Mike. I mean, it was strange. I mean, I
Yeah.
get like I said earlier, I get matchups. You want to put the, let's
But
just say,
Ken, let me ask you a question though, Ken. Okay. Who on Serbia was better than JT
nobody,
other than
nobody.
Jokic? Other than Jokic? We probably say the Joker. You see what I'm saying?
Not I'll say this:
MVP.
there was nobody. Let's just say athletic.
Okay.
You know,
Exactly. Nobody.
right?
Okay, let's go to France. Who is better?
Then JT,
Yeah.
not a single
Okay.
player.
Okay. But he don't play. You got a team over there where a dude sitting on your bench is again, I'm gonna say this, folks, because this is very important. Do you know how hard it is to make NBA first team? I'm not talking second team. I'm not talking third team. It is that means you are in the elite class. LeBron is not even making first team anymore. So you got Giannis, Jokic, you got folks like that on the first team, bruh. He's not done it once or twice. He's done it 3 years in a row. He's better than everybody. I would argue that Jokic could be, we can make an argument for that for Serbia. We can't make an argument for France. This
Not
man
wrong.
doesn't even get off the bench when he's better than everybody else on the other team. Now, Ken, here's an argument for you. Well, I say, White and Holiday. Man, stop it. White and Holiday is not on the same level as Jayson
No,
Tatum. Okay, let's just don't even go there. And guess what? Don't tell me about, well, he needed defense out there. JT can't play defense?
man, come on.
This is what I'm. You know, JT shoots better from the 3-point line than White do, and Drew Holiday, except for the corners. So, bro, with any argument you can make, your argument is invalid, man, because this dude is that dude.
Yeah.
It was like, man, if you sat down, let's say you set Kevin like that, we'd be like, what? Why you sitting Kevin like? No, you can't. Jayson Tatum is in that conversation, man. If we talk about at this level, he's more accomplished. Okay, he's more. Come on, man. Yeah, man. Kerr killing me. Kerr, you listen. Don't even come back, bro. Don't even come back, Kerr, because that was embarrassing, man. Number one, we should have beat Serbia by at least 15 plus points. We should have went in France and stepped on their throat. That sort of thing. That first half, they had so many turnovers. Man, they were not shooting the ball well. The defense was not there. Again, the United States has the ability that if we within 5 points with a couple of minutes to go, you probably gonna lose. Why? Because you got the king. You said it earlier, Ken. It's the veterans. You got Curry, you got the king, and I'm with you. But Ken, I told you. Now I'm sounding like mama and daddy now. I told you it was gonna be the LeBron show.
Oh,
I told you, bro. Listen, this was his last go round, Ken, and I told you it was going to be the LeBron James show. Much to his credit, and Ken, let me just say this: much to his credit, he played well. He was consistent. He did a lot of good things. But I'm in the same camp with you. When it came to what we needed to win the game, Chef was in the kitchen. He was in the kitchen, and he wasn't just, he just wasn't, it was a full course. It was a 5-star restaurant meal. You understand? Without Steph, France walking away with that gold. But without Steph, they not even in the gold medal game.
No.
Okay? So that's not your MVP? Mike, see, that's what I'm trying to say. That's what bothered me.
Let me say this. I think in the Serbia game, I think LeBron caused them, I won't say, he tried to do too much. I'll put it that way. Way too much. And he was trying to force a lot of things. That's why Serbia stayed close. This is just my opinion. Somebody else may have a different one. But he was just trying to do too much and not let the game come to him. Curry, yeah, he saved them. And Durant, against France, Durant had a nice game. He just showed you how, the Durant of old.
Yes, yeah. The second half, he was struggling in the first. The second half, like you say, he had a very good game. I mean, Kev is the type of dude where, man, anything you need on the offensive end, anything you need. Like, man, we need a bucket. We need a deep three.
Right.
We need that. And when you got them two dudes, when you got Kevin, man, and Steph, oh my God, man, you got a major problem. With 2 minutes to go in the game, you better be up by 20 because these guys know how to make buckets. They know how to get buckets. And to me, Ken, I'm gonna tell you who I thought was probably the most solid player throughout everything, and nobody's talking about him. Devin Booker.
Great point, Mike. Booker
solid, bro.
Yeah, he was solid, man. And Booker can get a little bit more. I'll say every shot is a good shot by Devin Booker sometimes, but I mean solid. Assists, some defense. I was like, that's Book.
Working hard, wasn't he?
Right. Yeah.
Picking up full court, working.
You gotta give him a lot credit, man. He played well. Like you said, solid. And let's just see if that can translate into the regular season. But hats off to him.
Yeah, I think Ken he saw the role that he could play and he fit perfectly into that role. He wasn't rushing shots. He wasn't going ISO on people. He was playing solid D. He was finding people that were
Right.
open. He is not getting the credit that he deserves for winning this gold medal, because I'm telling you, without and the thing about Devin was, bruh, he he played so good you forgot he was there.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? Like, he was so consistent from game to game that you, like, you forgot he was there. But when you looked up and you needed that big bucket, you needed that steal, you
Or
needed
an
that
assist.
deflection, you know what I mean? That assist, you were like, oh man.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So to me, he turned into the unsung hero for me,
Oh,
as far as his consistency, where you thought Tatum and I thought Tatum might play that role. It was Devin Booker. But I still say, man, I just knew, Ken, listen, LeBron's not going to be connected to anything that he's not the center of. I'm just going to keep it real.
okay.
That's just who he is. And we remember said who was going to be the leader, and we had that discussion about Curry, LeBron. I said Bron, you said
Oh,
Curry, and you see what happened. You see the commentators, LeBron, because LeBron knows he's trying to. This is, and I
legacy.
hate to say it, but it's about legacy. It's about it's. Ken, just to be honest, man, it's man over team, and I get it. I'm not. I know what he's chasing. He's chasing the impossible, but then again, if you're chasing the impossible, maybe there's hope. I don't know. But in his case, I keep hearing people say, man, he didn't, he has this made him the GOAT. And I'm like, how long does a man have to play in order to exceed a man that probably is going to end up playing half the NBA career for you to be the GOAT? I mean, you got to play 30 years. You got to have every record in the world. And then somehow you can possibly eclipse him. Stop it, man. That you will never be the GOAT. Okay. I think he had, again, LeBron had a solid
Yeah,
Olympic performance.
he did.
Solid. And he played well. But I just think other guys played some real key moments that tilted the gold medal toward them.
I agree. I mean, it's going to be interesting going into, let's just say, 2028, what that team will look like. You figure that, you're going to have, hopefully, JT, Brown on that team. I think Booker will be back. I think Ant-Man will also be back as far as the team is concerned.
Yeah.
And that would be the core of that team. So,
There's talent. There's
oh,
talent coming. Okay, so when I hear
oh
people,
yeah,
I don't know, the changing of the guard doesn't. Man, listen, Ant-Man didn't get the time he needed. JT definitely didn't get the time he needed. Like you said, these guys, Embiid is going to be back. These guys are going to be back. And next 4 years, they'll have a solid team, and they're going to repeat again. I mean, it's going to be a long time before the USA gets upset. But I think they have to make some adjustments. Now, Ken, there is something that I want us to discuss, that Dennis Schroder of Germany has some very interesting things to say, and then it's got a little AI thing over it. But I want to listen to this and get your take. Here we
okay,
go.
Kevin Durant celebrated the United States gold medal victory at the 2024 Paris Olympics with a jab at Team Germany star Dennis Schroder. Durant captioned a photo of Team USA wearing gold medals with entertainment and IQ, a reference to Schroder's criticism of American basketball earlier that day. Schroder offered
European basketball, I think, is the more. I gotta be careful here. I think it's European basketball is no entertainment. It's straight IQ basketball.
reporters a comparison between American and European basketball earlier on Saturday, after Germany lost 93-83 to Serbia in the bronze medal game. European basketball is no entertainment, it's straight IQ basketball, straight coaching, Schroder told reporters. Really, really high IQ guys who know how to play the game. Serbia, Greece, Spain, France, Germany, so many teams out there who know how to play, is athletic, and I think there's a lot of people from Europe in the NBA who make some noise. Durant, who contributed 15 points to the Americans' 98-87 victory over Team France, did not appear to appreciate Schroder's analysis. In addition to responding to Schroder, Durant also took to X to celebrate the start Team USA players, including himself, got in the Amateur Athletic Union. 2 decades after Durant got his start playing in the AAU in the Washington, D.C. area, he is now the first men's basketball player in Olympic history to collect 4 gold medals.
So Ken, what are your thoughts over that?
And this is coming from a man who turned down a 5-year contract for $100 million, right? From the Lakers.
Yeah, he thought he was going to get paid more.
All right. So I just told Mike I gotta disagree. I do, because when he said IQ, I'll say this. And one of the things that I love about LeBron is that he has a high IQ for basketball. And I think that anybody, I won't say anybody, but you have to have a high IQ for basketball. Talent alone is just not going to get you into the NBA, for number one. I think Dennis was reaching when he said that. He said the comments about it's about coaching and the fundamentals of the game. To me, Mike, I think NBA basketball is very entertaining. You got a lot of guys who are athletic in the NBA who can do things that just other people just can't do. You just don't get there by talent alone. The other thing that bothers me is that when he says something like that, and knowing how he, let's just say, moved from team to team to make this money in the NBA is kind of, I think, is a little disingenuous as far as I'm concerned. But as far as his comments, I just have to disagree, Mike. I just can't go along with that. I just have to push back on him.
Yeah, it's a little. If he had just said, that international players are more fundamentally sound these days than NBA players, I would agree with that. Because
Okay.
we're all about offense. We're all about the 3-pointer. You look at AAU, you look at high school, you look at dudes are not locking down on defense. That's just not an American culture anymore. There was a time where you couldn't play if you couldn't play D. That does
That's
not
true.
exist anymore.
But I
So
think
if
that's
he had,
but I think
go
that's
ahead,
out of NBA or Europe. I think that's on both sides. I think
well, I would push back only in European players play better team defense.
okay.
Right. They play better team defense, right? They don't have the athleticism to necessarily, as you
A
have
lot
pointed
tougher.
out, to lock somebody down. That doesn't exist. However, team defense, they're much better at it, man. They're much better. And we can even see that, because a lot of the baskets, even those baskets that Curry hit, man, he has somebody in his face. There was a few where he was open when they scrambled and they got there, but mainly he was juking, crossing people over, step backing, because their team defense, how they're able to not only cover the floor is different than the NBA. And I just think his point, and even I have to say, they're working on the basics more than we are in the United States. They just are. And I think it's because they have not yet advanced that much as we have with the game, right? That used to be the game here. Everything was fundamental. Everything was great shot. Not a good shot, a great shot. You take a 10-foot contested shot, you get snatched out. when I was in high school, and why you shooting with somebody in your face? You know what I mean? Like the game has changed so much here in the United States, but I get that from him. Now, is it a shot at the league? Yeah, it's a shot at the league. And it is disingenuous in a lot of ways because, bro, you don't have to play in the NBA. I mean, but we know that's where the money at, though.
Right, exactly.
Like, you ain't gonna get that money overseas like that, right? But he has the talent to play in Germany, play throughout Europe. He's got the talent, man, to do that and to be a superstar. But you want to be in the NBA, right? You want to be an average player in the NBA. Why? Because you get more money. So to say that about the league, and he cautioned himself though, Ken. He said, I have to be careful here.
Yeah, because that's why Durant clapped back at him. That's why. Come on, man.
I have to be careful here. But what I will say, man, is that I agree with his point, and you brought this point up earlier, even before we showed the clip, that the American game is an entertaining game. You're there's a alley oops here and there, this thing, but man, ain't nobody taking off on nobody, dunking over people like that. And man, we've had the Vince Carters, the Jordans, the King, the Dominiques. Come on, man. We can go on and on with the American players but Dominique is really, I think Dominique is from the island somewhere. But anyway, I think Dominique is from somewhere in Europe. He is, yeah. So it's crazy, man. You have to look it up. He was born, but raised in the States though. But you have that sort of athleticism in the NBA game. That's why it's so exciting to watch, because we just don't want to see fundamentals. We want to see that, but man, we want to see what Steph do. You know what I'm saying? We want to see what Kyrie do. And I heard I was listening to, man, I don't even know what you call what Dwayne Wade was doing in the commentary. I don't even know what you call that, man. I don't think it was more like a conversation that was going on. Maybe for some people it was cool, man, but I wanted more analysts, sort of analysis of the game while the game was going on. But that's just my personal preference. I don't want to hear about what you had last night and all this other kind of stuff going on. I just want to hear the game. That's just me. But there was an argument saying, well, maybe the NBA should kind of adopt some of these international rules because they will be more prepared when they go to the game. Now, when they go to the Olympics or an international play.
Mm-hmm.
One rule I do not like knocking the ball off the rim.
No, I don't
like that. Because this is, Ken, I'm making a correlation between the athleticism, because that's where we get the Kyrie at, right? We get to bouncing on the rim. We get to, that's where we get. Think about the shot that Kawhi hit against the Sixers that went up in the air, bounced a couple of times. That would have never counted. They would just knocked it off the rim.
All right.
Game over. So I do not like that rule. I think it gives an advantage where an advantage should not be given. But yeah, I agree with you on I think Dennis, he IQ, man, that's a stretch, man, because you man, come on, man. You got Hall of Famers on that team.
And
you trying to tell me that that KD, Steph, LeBron, I mean, we could go Ant-Man. We can go down to Anthony. You trying to tell me that them dudes don't have high basketball IQ? And that's what. If he just stayed with the fundamentals, I would have been okay with that. But when you say IQ, man, stop it.
Mike, that ain't nothing but a sore loser talking. Man, stop it, man. But anyway, that's Dennis. But that's just how he is a little bit. He got a little, let's just say, edge to him. So,
Well, I was hoping that Germany was going to win so we could have just stomped them. That's what I wanted. I wanted Dennis, because Dennis talk a lot of mess, man. I wanted Dennis to get stumped, because when they won the FIBA, oh, man, he just went. He was MVP. Oh, man, he just, he showed out. But to the victor goes the spoils. So I ain't mad at you. If you win, hey, act as crazy as you want to. But you have to be able to lose with grace as well, and walk away from it with respect. And that comment all it did, man, was, but hey, it's get back though.
Right. Oh yeah.
I mean, we've had some, just quickly, as we go, with the show, Gordon Hayward retired, and
Oh yeah.
and Jeremy Lamb also retired. Just those two great men played the game. Wish them best luck in their careers moving forward. But Ken, final analysis on the men's basketball. What do you think? Is there anything that you would change moving forward, looking at the team, or do you think that just bringing in some, when LeBron and KD and Steph, clearly they won't be back in the next 4 years, just adding some pieces, or do you see something that really needs to be addressed?
I think adding some pieces, they'll get by, but their thing is going to be length and height. That's where I think that's where their weakness is. You and B, he let's just say he can't play the minutes like he, let's just say, used to, or whatever the case may be. So that's going to be their, let's just say, Achilles heel. So you're going to have to, you're going to have to find some big men who, you know, most of them can shoot it from the three, but you're going to have to find somebody who can get in there and bang. So, that was one of their shortcomings, with this team also. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and it's worthy to mention Anthony Davis had a monster game in the camp championship game. I think he had like 6 blocks, like 5 offensive rebounds. I mean, he came down low. Speaking to your point, so I agree with that. But I'm going to end it by saying this: defense. They need to get some defensive wings. That's going to. They need defensive minded players, man. You can have your superstars, because when you look at the dream team, everyone on that dream team, except for Chris Mullins, because we know he was offensively minded. But when you got Barkley, you got Jordan, you got Stockton, you got Malone, you got Ewing, you have all of these guys that play on the both ends of the court. They will lock you down and they will score on you. And this year's team had too many offensive juggernauts, and which is good when you are an offensive potent team. But when you go cold, you get to Serbia. You get to struggle with, and sooner or later, that is going to come to haunt you. You're going to have to be able to lock down some of these international players, because more and more of them are in the league. When you look at France, how many France players went in the top 10 this year?
Oh, next year too.
So in 4 years, what? In 4 years, they might have 7, 8 NBA players on their team.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so no, you're gonna have to, and these French guys are coming a little different. They got some athleticism now. So
yeah, they do a little bit.
You're gonna have to get some defensive minded people in there, and you're gonna also have to get rid of Steve Kerr. I'm just gonna say it. I don't want to see him back, folks. But listen, we want to know your opinion. Ken, last word.
I think it's going to be Steve Kerr's decision to step down or continue. He won it, so they're not going to say, "Hey, Steve, you got to go" or anything like that. But some players may say, "Hey, I don't, if they may not say it, out loud, but they'll say, they say, Steve here, nah, I'm a pass."
I'm good, folks. You heard it. Great show. The world of sports unites us. Let us therefore take this unity in our everyday life. This is why they play the game.